Dream of driving backwards. What does it mean to dream of driving backwards? We can't control the images that show up in our dreams. They can be tragic, scary, threatening, or even funny. One of the funniest night visions people can ever have is to dream of driving backwards. It's like a Charlie Chaplin movie. But as hilarious as the image of you stuck on reverse trying to drive anywhere may be, this dream is actually quite deep. It's too easy to dismiss it as just a funny dream, but there's a lot of meaning behind the surface humor of this dream image. Depending on the different details that form the context of this dream, your subconscious might be telling you of certain realities in your life that may not be laughing matters. In fact, they can be as serious as a heart attack. Dreaming about driving backwards involves your life's direction. Whenever you dream of a car and the car is the central focus of your dream, your subconscious is telling you something about your life's direction. Now, keep in mind that the car has to play a central role. It has to be in the middle of your dream. It can't just be a detail. It can't just be something that happens in passing. It has to be the central motif of your dream. If you are dreaming of driving a car, then your subconscious is telling you something about the direction of your life. Generally, when people drive, they drive forward. It takes too much attention and effort to drive backwards. It's also very inefficient as far as your gasoline usage is concerned. When you see yourself in your dream in a car going backwards, this can indicate that you feel that certain areas of your life are stagnant, backward, or degrading. Whatever the situation may be, it's negative. Maybe you haven't paid attention to them all that much. Maybe you compare your life with those of your friends and you feel that they have left you behind when it comes to personal success in certain areas of your life. You are concerned, but you don't know why. It seems that you have a sense of complacency about certain areas of your life. Pay close attention to the speed you're going and your state of mind. When you see yourself driving backwards in your dream, are you going full speed? Are you putting the pedal to the metal, or are you simply slowly afraid of that going at a low speed because you feel like you might hit something? Try to remember that what was racing through your mind as you dreamed of that image. This can indicate that you are sensing certain aspects of your waking life that are not in line with who you think you are and where you think you should be going. Depending on the speed you're doing, this can indicate either a lack of control or a sense of compensation. Maybe you realize that you haven't been doing what you should be doing when it comes to certain relationships, career goals, or even education. So what do? You do what a lot of people do. You overcompensate. You push hard against the pedal and try to gain it all back. Do you sense any of this in your life? What have been the results? Usually when you realize you haven't been putting in the right amount of time, focus, and effort into certain relationships, your job search, or other areas of your life, the solution is quite simple. The answer is to double the effort. If only things were that easy. Just because you are currently putting in 0% doesn't necessarily mean that if you put in 200%, things will all of a sudden turn around. The world doesn't work that way. It does have its own schedule. In many cases, you have to invest in certain areas of your life as well as certain key people surrounding you for things to finally gain traction. It's as if you have people surrounding you that are spoon-feeding you their attention and focus. But instead of pushing you forward, you're actually going around in circles. You can't just rush a solution through in one day. It just doesn't work that way. Don't be surprised that just as driving backwards at full speed can often lead to disaster, overcompensating in certain areas of your life can lead to unwanted results too. In some cases, you are making things worse by trying to fix them instead of letting things play out as slowly and trying to manage them in a more focused way. You are not caught in a race. Please understand that at the end of the day, the only person that will judge you is yourself. Unfortunately, we think that if we're making so little compared to our friends and relatives, we have to somehow compensate. We feel that we have to catch up. Sadly, it doesn't work that way. Focus on your lane. Stay in your lane. Focus on the decisions that you have chosen along the way. and see how you can make the best of the path that you are on before even thinking of switching lanes. A little bit of mastery goes a long way. Going too slow can also be a problem. Driving in reverse too slowly can indicate crippling fear. The opposite is also true. It can be problematic. If you see in your dream that you are driving in reverse but you're so scared you move like a snail, there is a problem. What's happening is you're looking at your past so closely that you can't move forward. There are people in your past that have hurt you. Maybe they've said certain things that they shouldn't have. Maybe they did certain things that made you bitter and you can't forgive nor forget. Welcome to the club. We all have certain trauma in our lives, and a lot of these are sad. And it's really up to us whether they get worse over the years. Whatever you are frustrated about today, it's very tempting to look back at certain negative events in the past and blame them. If you do that, you're giving them more power. You're letting your past control your present. If you're not careful, you might end up blowing things out of proportion. You end up sabotaging yourself because you can't let go of the past. Eventually, you become a slave to this memory. People are very hardy. Seriously, you are a survivor. We are tougher than we care to realize. With the right mindset, we can pretty much overcome anything. We can move on, rise above, and get on with the rest of our lives. When you play the game of life and use your past experiences to push you instead of using them as emotional crutches, you will get further in life. Remember, the past is the past. Those people who hurt you, they've changed. Most of the time, they are not the exact same people that hurt you. When they did those things to you, they were certain people. Now, after a few years, they've changed. Why can't you? They've moved on. What's holding you back? When you keep seeing this image of you behind the wheel looking over your shoulders, slightly tapping the gas as you go in reverse, your subconscious is telling you that you need to let go of certain things from the past because they are holding you back. Far from being a master of your present, you've allowed yourself to become a slave of your past. The worst part is that it's a past that you've made up. Remember, the past is only as powerful as we make it to be. We define our past. We hang on to certain memories and let go of others. Knowing that you have this power and ability, use it to your favor. Let go of the things that hold you back and focus on the key lessons that will push you forward and make you a stronger person. This is how you get ahead. This is how you move on. Dreaming about heading a person while driving backwards. When your car is going in reverse motion or the backward direction, you see a car heading somebody else. This indicates a very dark side of your emotional state. A lot of people are afraid of their envious side. In fact, most people would even deny that they are envious and jealous of other people. But the more you deny this part of yourself, the more strength you give that dark side of your personality. This dark side is a part of yourself that feels happy when bad things happen to other people. This is the part of yourself that thinks that for you to get ahead, other people must fall behind. You have to get to the bottom of this part of yourself because this mindset is not helping you. It's counterproductive. Remember, you're running a race with yourself. You're not running a race with somebody else. And if you allow your self-conscious identity to be based on other people's validation or to be based solely on how other people are doing, you're only going to succeed in screwing yourself up. You have to understand that you have to run a race with the person you hope to become. Because if you do it this way, you hold the cards in your hands. But on the other hand, if you're constantly comparing yourself with other people and worse yet, trying to gain their attention and validation, you will be at the mercy of people you cannot control. Do you see what's wrong with this strategy? Do you see how this can just hold you back and keep you down? Feeling good at others' misfortune is a crucial part of human nature. As uncomfortable as we may be about this tendency to feel good about other people's bad luck, Don't feel too bad. In fact, this is hard-coded in the human psyche. Imagine two cavemen walking on a jungle floor someday, thousands of years ago. All of a sudden, a bear appears. Both of them start running. Now, please understand that they will look at each other and focus on just outrunning each other. They don't even think about the bear. This makes all the sense in the world because you only need to outrun the guy you're with to ensure your survival, because the bear, in all likelihood, will eat that guy before the bear gets its claws on you. Now imagine this tendency being hard-baked into your DNA because, let's face it, the guy who gets eaten probably doesn't get to pass on his genes to the next generation. So after thousands of generations, we have hardwired into our psyche as well as into our own very own biological DNA this tendency to judge our progress in life based on how other people are doing in this imaginary race. But here's the problem. We live in a world of jet airplanes. We live in a world of nuclear reactors producing a tremendous amount of free energy. We live in a completely different world. It's a high-tech world out there, and those basic needs of survival are long in the past. So, by extension, we also have to let go of the old thinking and mentality that has been hardwired into our DNA. And this involves getting rid of feeling good at other people's misfortune. Sure, it's part of human nature, but it doesn't have to continue to define you. So focus on the race that you are running with yourself. Understand that this is your base instinct, but you don't have to restrict yourself to it. You don't have to let the biological drives or hardwired psychology continue to define you. You can become your own person. You can choose your own values and live according to them. This is how you assert control. This is how you become your own person. Otherwise, you're just going to be at the mercy of what other people think. And this is the reason why so many people die lonely, depressed, bitter, and defeated. Is that the kind of future you want to see for yourself? So if you see yourself driving backward in your dream, understand that this is a general motif. That this issue of defining yourself in such a way that you're begging for other people's validation is a dead-end street. There is a better way. Run that race with yourself. Define who you want to be. Define the kind of person you would like to become. Understand what that person's values are and live for those values. That's how you get ahead. That's how you make a real life for yourself. Come to grips with your base instincts. As I keep repeating, human beings today are actually made up of base instincts that were hardwired into our genetic makeup from thousands of years ago. We can't make those instincts instantly disappear. Instead, the best we can do is to be aware of them and understand how they can be counterproductive in our daily lives. Now, this doesn't mean that they're always counterproductive. From time to time, they can serve a positive purpose. So understand what's going on and make a decision to pick a different path, to pick a different lane, and go towards that. Unfortunately, a lot of people cannot let go of this, and that's why they think that life is a giant pie. And for their slice of the pie to get bigger, somebody else's slice needs to get smaller. They have this fixed view of life, and they try to compete with other people based on snatching happiness, achievement, and resources from other people. Little do they know that they can grow the pie just by being yourself, charting your own path, doing your own thing, building your own personal brand, and sharing all these riches with other people. You enrich everybody else's experiences. That's how it works. You don't have to restrict yourself to fighting over crumbs. Because if that's your mentality, your mindset is very small, and let's face it, it's pathetic, pitiful, and sad. What does it mean to dream when you are driving slowly in reverse and you still end up in a crash? The sad reality is that life is risky. There is no such thing as a guaranteed jackpot when it comes to life. Even if you have dotted all your I's and crossed all your T's and just made sure that you played the game the way it's supposed to play, and you've taken all sorts of precautions, you can still end up with an outcome you won't be happy with. That's part of life. But what's important is you can increase your chances of getting the outcome you desire if you put in full effort and you're fully aware of the process. None of this, of course, guarantees that you will be successful. But guess what? At least when you end up with a disappointing result, you know that you've given it all. Unfortunately, so many people out there, they don't even want to try. They think that just the moment they make some sort of investment or they take certain steps, that they are entitled to victory. So they feel like some sort of victim when things don't pan out. You, on the other hand, can make things work out, and you increase your chances of success if you go through the right process and you have the right mindset. Again, none of these guarantees that you will get the result that you're looking for, but you're definitely going to be in a better position because you did it the right way. So let go of the sense of entitlement that you deserve to win, that things need to work out just the way desired. That's not life. Instead, be ready for disappointment, but also be ready to put in all the necessary work and sacrifice, and by doing so, increase your chances of getting to where you need to go. At the very least, you enjoyed the journey getting there. You see how this works? At the very least, your mind is in the right place. What does it mean to dream about driving in reverse while you are drunk? There are many things in life that will make you drunk. You can be drunk with delusion. You can be drunk with guilt. You can be drunk with the need for other people's validation. You can be drunk with lies passed on from person to person. You can be drunk with the negative or toxic attitudes of people you choose to surround yourself with. Regardless of the context, drunkenness is a bad thing because you're not thinking clearly. You're not looking at things the way they really are. Instead, you're under the influence of something or some people or some situation that you do not control. So this dream of driving in reverse while drunk is a loaded dream. And not only is it bad enough that you are trying to look at the past in a certain way that holds you back and drags you down, but you're doing so completely under the influence of negative mindsets, negative ideas, and negative people that are not going to lead you to the right place. You are suffering from two toxic sources of influence. This is why it's really important to be clear as to what your mindset is and what you allow your mindset to be influenced by. You actually have a lot more control over what influences you than you care to realize, because the moment you turn on TikTok or the moment you load Twitter on your mobile device, you are allowing your mind to be influenced. Now, this is not necessarily a bad thing, but you have to be conscious and deliberate regarding the influences that you want. You also have to be guarded regarding the stuff that you don't want to influence you. You have that kind of control. Don't think that you're just this piece of plastic on the surface of an angry, storm-tossed sea being pushed backwards and forwards. Don't play victim. You get to shape your life. Your choices do have consequences. Other variations of dreams of driving backward. If you're driving backward and you are dancing or you're laughing, this can indicate that you are looking at the past in a creative way. In other words, you've woken up to the reality that you can use your past as a tool to help you shape the life that you desire in the here and now.